my privilege to introduce Francisco Urena and his wife, Jennifer Siegler, to read Paul Revere's Ride. I've known Francisco for several years now as Old North has worked with veterans groups, and I look forward to working with Francisco this year. This fall, we once again host the Congressional Medal of Honor Society, and here at Old North we will be proud to host their memorial service when they gather here. So Francisco, it's great to have you as a partner. Jennifer, it's great to welcome both to Old North.
Paul Revere's Ride, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. Listen, my children, and you shall hear the midnight ride of Paul Revere, the 18th of April in 75. Hardly a man is now alive who remembers that famous day and year. He said to his friends, the British march by land or sea from the town tonight, hang a lantern aloft the belfry arch of North Church Tower as a signal light. One by land, two by sea, and I, on the opposite shore, will be ready to ride and spread the alarm through every Middlesex village and farm, for the country folk to go up and to arm. Then he said goodnight, and with muffled oar and silently rowed to the Charlestown shore, just as the moon rose over the bay where the swing wide at maroon rings lay. There, the Somerset, the British man of war, the phantom ship, with each mast and spar across the moonlight like prison bar in a huge black hole that magnified by its own reflection in the tide.
Meanwhile, his friend, where alley and street, wanders and watches with eager ears. To the silence around him he hears the muster of men at the barrack door, the sound of arms and the tramp of feet, and the measured tread of the grenadiers marching down to their boats on the shore. Then he climbed the tower of the Old North Church by the wooden stairs with stealthy tread to the belfry chamber overhead, and startled the pigeons from their perch on the somber rafters that round him made massive and moving shapes of shade. By the trembling ladder, steep and tall, to the highest window in the wall, where he paused to listen and look down, a moment on the roofs of the town, and the moonlight flowing over all. Beneath in the churchyard lay the dead, in their night encampment on the hill, wrapped in silence and taken still, that he could hear like sentinels tread, the watchful midnight wind creeping along from tent to tent, and seeming to whisper, all is well. A moment only he feels the spell of the place and the hour and the secret dread of the lonely belfry and the dead. For suddenly all his thoughts are bent on shadowy something far away, where the river widens to meet the day, a line of black that bends and floats on the rising tide like a bridge of boats.
Meanwhile, impatient to mount and ride, booted and spurred with heavy stride, on the opposite shore walked Paul Revere. Now he patted his horse's side. Now he gazed the landscape far and near. Then adventurous stamped the earth, and turned and tightened his saddle's spur. But mostly he watched with eager search the belfry tower of the Old North Church, as it rose above the graves on the hill, lonely and spectral and somber and still. And lo, as he looks on the belfry's height a glimmer, and then a gleam of light, he springs to the saddle. Then brittle he turns, but lingers and gazes so full on his sight. A second lamp in the belfry burns, a hurry of hoofs in the village street, a shape in the moonlight, a bolt in the dark, and beneath on the pebbles and acid and spark, struck out by the steed flying feelers in the fleet. Then that was all, and yet throughout the gloom and the light, the fate of the nation was brightened that night, and the spark and stopped out in the steam in his flight, kindled the land into a flame with his heat. He has left the village and mounted his steed, and beneath him, tranquil and broad and deep, is the mystic, meeting the ocean tides, and under the alder to skirt its edge, now soft on the sand, now long on the ledge, is heard strangle his feet as he rides.
It was 12 by the village clock when he crossed the bridge into Bedford town. He heard the crowing of the cock and the barking of the farmer's dog, and felt the damp of the river fog that rises after the sun goes down.
It was 1 by the village clock when he galloped into Lexington. He saw the gilded weathercock swing in the moonlight as he passed, and the meeting house windows, blank and bare, gave to him a spectral glare, as it already stood aghast at the bloody work of the work.
It was 2 by the village clock when he came to the bridge in Concord town. He heard the bleating of the flock and and the twitter of birds among the trees, and felt the breath of the morning breeze blowing over the meadows brown. And one was safe and asleep in his bed, who at the bridge would be first to fall, who that day would be lying dead, pierced by a British musket ball.
You know the rest in the books you've read, how the British regulars fired and fled, how the farmers gave them ball for ball, from behind each fence and farmyard wall, chasing the redcoats down the lane, then crossing the fields to emerge again, under the trees and the turn of the road, and only pausing to fire and load. So throughout the night rode Paul Revere, so through the night went his cry of alarm, to every Middlesex village and farm, with cry of defiance and not of fear, a voice in the darkness, he knocked on the door, and a word that shall echo forevermore. For morn of the night, when of the past, through all our histories, to the last, in the hour of darkness and peril and need, the people will waken and listen to hear the purring hoofbeats of the steed, and the midnight message of power here.
Newman, the church sexton, around dusk, climbed into the steeple with 2 lanterns. They held them aloft for about a minute to send the signal to the Sons of Liberty in Charlestown that British troops would be rowing across the Charles River to Cambridge to commence their march on Lexington and Concord. I can take no credit for what they did, but my predecessor that very morning, shall we say, left the employ of the church. He was a Tory. But think for a minute about the courage of those 2 gentlemen who climbed into the steeple. When they got back down to the floor of the steeple, there were British soldiers at the front door, pounding to get in. They figured something was amiss with 2 lights after curfew in a church steeple. Now, Newman and Pulling were able to escape through the rear window. Newman was arrested the next day, but only on circumstantial evidence. But both men risked their lives that night for our liberty. Each year, we seek out a group of modern-day patriots who are also willing to risk of their lives or livelihoods to protect our liberties, to reach out in compassion to those in need. Tonight, we are very proud to honor representatives from Partners in Health, an organization primarily made of volunteers, of healthcare workers who are instrumental in combating the Ebola virus in West Africa over the last year. Given the panic that ran through much of our nation about a virus far away from us, I can't tell you how much I admire those who are willing to go to the front lines, risk their lives to reach out in compassion to people in great need as they combat this virus. So I'm delighted tonight, on behalf of all the healthcare workers who went to West Africa and all the healthcare workers who are volunteering their time to serve people in need overseas, I'm delighted tonight to ask Jessica Hurst-Bender, Gail Rolovich, Sarah Richards, Patricia Ruse, and Nancy Todd to be our honorary lantern carriers. And if each of you would stand and be joined by Paul Revere, while I invite the lanterns, and for those of you who didn't get here before, you know, I'm not always that, but hopefully we'll get the lanterns lit and carried out into the steeple of this church.
gathered in this place where once patriots did watch attentively, may we be ever attentive, observing with perceptive wisdom those movements which determine the course and character of our common life in this land. Gathered in this place where once patriots did prepare to sound the alarm, may we speak up and speak out, sounding the alarm when the common good is threatened, when freedoms are endangered, when justice is denied. Gathered in this place where once patriots did make use of the elevated height of its spire, may those in positions of elevated civic or moral authority lead with courage of heart, strength of voice, and wisdom of purpose. As once we were led not only by statesmen, but by church sextons and silversmiths, may we now be inspired not only by our elected officials, but by doctors and nurses, pastors and teachers, architects and first responders, and all who sacrifice and strive for the common good. Gathered in this place, from which a beacon of two lights did shine, may this city, this Colonial, and this nation be guided by the light of our founding ideals, that illuminated by 240 years of history, takes and mistakes, triumphs and lapses, we might yet rededicate ourselves to be a beacon for others. This is our solemn prayer. Amen. And now may the Lord bless you and keep you and strengthen you as ambassadors of this place and of all that it